Let's go. Let's go.
Rip it up. Count of three. 3, 2, 1. Let's rip it up.
Rip it. In my Medea voice. Rip it.
All the lists that we made without God's knowledge, we're ripping those up and we're starting fresh. Come on, rip it all up. Never going
back. It's gonna be a confetti party.
I know, right? What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. I have a special guest. This is my baby sister. Can you introduce yourself? Who are you?
Oh, I am Khadijah Torber. Like you said, I'm his younger sister, well, his only sister, but I am Khadijah. Hello, everybody.
So happy to have you on. So happy to have you on the channel. You actually were on my very first YouTube video. Go back to my videos for all the viewers at home. We did a video about Kim Kardashian. I think to this day, I think that was my most viewed video.
I think it was.
I think the name of the video was like Kim Kardashian's Big Butt or something to that effect.
Yeah.
Big bucks. So that was fun. So you're back now. We're talking about relationship goals. Pastor Mike Todd, he's doing a relationship series called Relationship Goals. And he's
Reloaded.
Yeah. So he had a series a couple years ago. Now he's doing the reloaded version. And so, what are some things you like about Pastor Mike Todd in general before we dive into the sermon?
Oh my gosh! Like as he says that he is hot, humble, open, and transparent, just like his church, and you really see that like exude from the screen. Like he's just so authentic in his teaching, and he breaks it down to a level where I can understand it, and it's not like over my head. And I just like his energy. You know, he gets you hype and ready for the sermon. So I love it. I gotta go make a trip to Tulsa or something.
We do. We need to go to Tulsa. It seems like a great place, and he seems like good. You know, I just love how he keeps saying, even in part 2, where he doesn't want to be just famous. He says, it doesn't matter if we're trending on Twitter. Like, are you being transformed?
Yes.
Woo! Like, are you being transformed when you tweet these things? So it's like the accolades and the hype, the social media hype. I think he transformed people's lives. So
yeah, he really wants that transformation.
That's good. So yeah, let's dive right into it. Part 2 is rip up your list.
Ooh, mighty.
You want to give us a kind of a general overview of what ripping up your list means?
So from what I got from him was like rip up your list is we go through life making a list of like kind of like what we want our mate to look like or what we want our mate to have, possess the characteristics, or sometimes it can be a career. Like this is a timeline of how I want my career path to go. And he's saying like, don't do that. If God is not in that, don't do that. Like let God rewrite your list for you and with you. So it's just like rip up all the expectations that you thought you would have for your life and let God kind of be at the center of it and help you write it.
That's so good. How many times have we done that? I know for me personally, I think about all the times where I make a plan and then don't consult God, and then it ends up going sideways because you don't want to do that. It's one of those things. But
I agree. So many times. I think everybody does, and I think that's the beauty in it because he knows everybody at some point in their life has made a list, you know. So
it's good to wrap it up. So I love it at the very beginning. He talks about how he was doing an interview, and an interviewer asked his wife Natalie, was Michael everything on your list? Like, and her response was so funny. Do you remember what her response was?
She was like, no, I thought I would marry somebody of this nationality with this color eyes. And he was like, what?
And those who know him, Pastor Mike Todd, he's a black guy, milk chocolate guy, a little bit chunkier. And the guy that she wanted was someone who's like maybe Hispanic, Puerto Rican with green eyes. It's so interesting. The guy kind of give you what you need, not what you want. Because a lot of times people on things that are physical, like you want a physical girl. Like I mean, a light-skinned girl with a big butt. But have I consulted God in that? Have I?
That's true.
So that's real good.
That's true.
I think one of the biggest points that he made was really defining what a list is. And I wrote down his definition, kind of long, but he said a list is a set of predetermined self-fabricated ideals of a specific person, situation, or outcome written down, continually thought out, or verbally communicated, of which erroneous expectations to come goals for achievement.
Yeah.
Essentially creating this list in your head and then you keep focusing on it. Can you speak to that a little bit? Have you ever made a list, a predetermined self-fabricated ideal of a specific person, situation, or outcome that was written down?
Yes, and then it'd be too hurt when it doesn't go the way that I thought it would or the way that I expected. And then I'd be like, God, hello. And then God is like, I never co-signed that. That was you. That was you in your head. And I think Pastor Michael Todd, he wrote down the formula of frustration. And I think in that moment, we get so frustrated because it's what we expected and it didn't turn out how we expected. So the formula of frustration is a fabricated expectation plus failed reality, and that equals feelings of frustration. And when I say that got me, I was like, woo! That has happened to me so many times, and I'm like, wow, that was really like a heart check of like, okay, what are some of the motives behind the things that I wanted that I asked for, and then I try to attach God to it before consulting Him. You know,
I think that resonated with me because that could be all of us during this pandemic. Right now, as most of you guys know, we're going through a pandemic right now, COVID-19. So that's one of the reasons why we're doing a Zoom call as opposed to in person. But a lot of us had goals some people were trying to graduate, have a huge graduation ceremony, have birthday parties, or I was actually in a wedding that's supposed to be actually this month in May, and it actually got pushed back to the end of summer because of that. So we have these big plans, and then God comes in and says, not so fast.
Y'all thought.
Exactly. We're gonna put the world on pause and we'll see what happens. But it's so interesting how that happens. And I love how this message can apply not just to relationships. He said this over and over, where it can apply to marriages, relationships with coworkers, friendships, every area of our life.
Yeah.
Be applied to. What do you think that means for you?
I think in general, it's just like we have to kind of figure out kind of the things that are on our list for specific like reasons and checking like the motives behind why we have that on our list. Because like he said something, he was like, God is committed to our destiny, not our desires. And in that moment, I was just like, wow, like his plan is really greater than what I can ever imagine. So it's just like, why don't I put that in his hands so he can help me, write out specific things for my life instead of me putting all my feelings, all my emotions in it at the time, and just going right to the source.
That's so good. And I love when he said that he used 2 specific Bible verses. I wrote them down. They're really good. I want to get your thoughts on these 2 Bible verses. He used Psalms 57:4. Delight yourself in the Lord, and he shall give you the desires of your heart. That's really good. And the last one he used was Proverbs 19:21. Many other plans in a person's heart, but it's the Lord's purpose that prevails. And one more again for the people in the back.
Come on.
Back row. Proverbs 19:21. Many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. Like, what do those verses mean to you? How does that speak to you?
I think he painted a good picture. He was talking about Joseph and the fact that he had a dream, like we all do. We start off with a dream when we're younger. I think I wanted to be a ballerina. Clearly that did not happen. But God gives everybody a dream and a purpose. And, Joseph thought that he would have this dream, get the support of his brothers, then get the opportunity, then the promotion, and then he'll get the palace. But in reality, it didn't work out like that. Like he was betrayed by his brothers, he was enslaved and then he was thrown into prison, but he still got the palace. So it's like that part of God's plan will still prevail. In the end, Joseph still got the palace, even though what he expected the way he expected the routes to go didn't happen. It actually turned out like this because that's the way real life is. So it's just like, no matter what I go through, even though it's going to be some ups and downs and valleys, God's plan for my life will still prevail. And that's so peaceful in knowing that. And sometimes it's hard because I'm like, what is going on? Yeah. But it's just the fact that he'll give me the desires of my heart as long as they align to his. But no matter what, his plan for my life will still prevail. So that's the beauty in it. That's
so good. That's a good point. I forgot about that point. And I remember watching the graphic. He had a big graphic where it was, I can't remember what the first point, but what at the bottom
like the dream.
Oh, I think that was it.
Dream
Palace, and then the pit at the bottom.
Yeah.
So you have to have the dream, and then there's a sharp decline. It was like, God, where are you? And then at the end of that, it's from the palace. And I love that, that representation. That's so relevant to our lives, relevant to the stuff that we go through day to day. And so that point in there. I love his next point as well. He says, a God dream is never created based on your preference. A God dream is based on your purpose. And so he goes on to really talk more and more about Joseph and how Joseph was sold into slavery. And if you guys aren't aware, I definitely advise you to go to the Bible and read that. But Joseph was definitely sold into slavery with his brothers. And look, like all hope is lost. He was in slavery for years. He ends up working for the king, and then the king's wife tries to seduce him. So he has like a whole situation. It's like a soap opera. Really.
It really is. Like the Bible is intense. Like it's
like
good.
a Netflix show. It's a Netflix show, but in all that, God's dream is never created based on your preference. It's based on your purpose. I love that. Do you know what your purpose is in life yet?
I think daily God reveals that to me, and I feel like he puts people in your life to also kind of confirm what is already in you. Because I know some people are like, oh my gosh, you're walking in your calling, or you're doing this, or oh my gosh, I look up to you in this way. And it's just like, okay, maybe that is God confirming to me what he's already put in me, that what my purpose is. I know, like, I love mentoring like young females, and I know in some capacity that's going to come out even more. I love talking to people, connecting with people. So I feel like in a way I'm already walking in my purpose, because I love talking to people. I never meet a stranger, so
Yeah,
I just love reaching out to people. So I feel like he's definitely making the purpose known, but solid point blank, no, but I think I have an idea.
That's good. I know for me, I'm still in the process of trying to figure out my purpose. Still in prayer about it. I know for me, I love construction. I love real estate. I still don't know exactly why I'm here. So I really love that point where anything I'm going through, even if I have purposes, and it's funny about purposes because purposes change. I look at the things when I was 10 years younger versus now, and your purposes, things you like come and go. And so I'm really excited to kind of be. The good thing about being quarantined now is that I have a lot of time to read and journal and think. I can push myself to figure out what that purpose is. So maybe this is the season to do that. I
think that's why God slowed the whole world down, so everybody can kind of rediscover themselves in Him.
Yeah, I love that. We got the chance. There's a I've been reading the book of Samuel. There's a Bible verse where Eli was like a prophet, and Eli was. Hopefully I'm not messing the story up. I believe, I need to fact check.
Get it right, sir.
I know, right? If I'm not mistaken, I believe, I'm not gonna murder it. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Eli was the prophet, and Samuel was like the intern, like the understudy. And God kept calling him Samuel, and God kept calling him, and then Samuel would go to Eli over and over saying, "What do you want?" And he eventually realized that it was God calling him. Samuel didn't know his voice. And so at the very end, Eli was like, the next time God calls you, say, "Speak, Lord, your servant is listening."
Yeah.
And I love that. I've been reading that over and over. I really should fact check that. Hopefully I'm getting these names right. So
I don't know so much about the names, but I remember that story definitely,
But I love that. And so I think because God has stopped the world, everyone's quarantined, that's been like one of my prayers now is just speak, Lord, I'm listening. Your servant's listening. So whatever you need to show me, please reveal that to me.
I love that.
But yeah, going back to a God dream is never created based on your preference. A God dream is based on your purpose. One of the verses he brought to light was Psalms 23:4. And yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. I love that you use that. When we're in the pit, it can seem so long and so draining. We be in relationships we don't want to be in, or we be at jobs we don't want to be at. We be in situations we don't want to be in. But we have to realize that even though we're going through this, even though we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for I am with you. What does that mean to you?
I think it just means like no matter what, whether we're in a good place, whether we're like on cloud 9, cloud 10, or whether we're in our lowest like sunken place, depressed, don't know what's going to happen next. Like God is still there in the highs and the lows. And like, we shouldn't be fearful. We shouldn't stress. We shouldn't, try to figure out what's next, because like God has us, because he's our comforter. He's always here.
Yeah. And also I love being in the pit too. And Pastor Mike was talking about this, where we don't choose to be in the pit, but God's letting those things work for your good. He used an example, which I actually didn't know this. I didn't know his son was autistic. And he didn't, when you look at it on the outside, you could consider that a pit, but he's using it because it's not a pit. God is getting glory out of this. God is using those things for him. And so a lot of times we don't choose to go through these difficult situations, but God wants us to go through that anyways.
Yeah.
So I love how he related that to his own personal life. I only thought he had one daughter, and then I found out I think he has a couple kids.
He has 3 kids, 2 girls, 1 boy.
Gotcha. Well, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. I think like in that, I think a Bible verse he brought it was Genesis 29:2-6. And it's saying like the Lord was with Joseph. So he succeeded in everything he did as he served. So like even if we're thrown in the pit, we can't stay there because that's what the devil wants us to do. Like we still have to like give God praise, give God worship, and know that our faith still has to be like up to here because as long as we're still serving, believing, like God will meet us where we are. So I just love it that he was just like he still got promoted in the pit. So it's just like that's just refreshing. Like, you know, in this pandemic, you know, a lot of stuff is going on where people are being like furloughed or, you know, people are working from home. It's just like a different time. And it's just like God can still promote you in the pit. Like, you know, if you thought this was gonna be your year, it still can be your year because God can promote you in the pit. So it's just like that was refreshing to hear.
I love that. And also while you're in the pit, it's not a wasted season. I had something in my notes about that.
What part?
I can't find it now, but essentially being in the pit isn't always the bad thing. For example, right now we're in the pandemic. Maybe God allowed this pandemic to happen. Maybe he allowed this pit to happen for us to be broken free from some things. So he used the example that for some people, for some parents, the only reason why they get to see their kids right now is because of the pandemic.
That
some
is
people,
true.
they had to lose their jobs because that's the only way to get them away from their job. Some people, when it comes to their family, they spend so much time with their family, but they wouldn't have gotten this time beforehand because family
that is true.
Even more. So God sometimes uses these drastic things, these looks like a pit. It's their own way to force us to go into his way. And that's one of those things.
I agree. That's good. That's good.
And one more thing, going back to what you were just saying about Genesis 29:2, the Lord was with Joseph, so he succeeded in everything he did. The big thing I took away from that is that Joseph, even though he was still in an unfair situation, he still served. So big. So all these things happened to him. His brother sold him to slavery. He's in a bad situation, but he still served.
I know about you. I don't know about you, but I would have been like, I would have had the funkiest attitude. Like my brother, like that's you. You gave me up to slavery. You put me in a pit. Like now I'm in prison because this, you know, this girl accused me of doing something I didn't do. Like I would be so angry, and Joseph was not. Like he has all the reasons to be so angry. Like all of this is coming at him left and right, all because of a dream that he spoke and shared to others. You know, so it's just like, how did he have so much peace and still serve? You know,
right there. That's a God thing. That's a God thing.
Yeah.
So, I think lesson for us, even when we get into uncomfortable situations that we didn't cause. Sometimes we stuff that we had. This life just happened to us sometimes, and in spite of that, we still have to make the choice to serve. We still have to make the choice to be joyful, even if it's not a joyful situation. I'll bless the Lord at all times. His praise continually be in my mouth, and so
hey man, you better say that. Come on,
you got to keep that worship on your lips, even when unfair things are happening all the way around you. So
that's true.
What are some other points on the sermon that stuck up to you, or any other?
I think like just the part about serving, like he said, like faithfully serving the season you're in always produces success, and that just goes back to like how you are in the season that you're in. Like my current pastor, he loves to say, you know, waiting faith. What are you doing in the process of you waiting for what you're, you know, about to praise God for? Like the thing that you want and you're believing God is about to bring it to you, but how are you waiting in this season? Are you serving it faithfully? Are you serving unto the Lord? Are you praying without a shadow of doubt that it will come to pass? So like, you know, serving this season faithfully will produce success. So I just love it.
I love that. And all things work together for the good of them that love the Lord. So in the end, everything's gonna work out. So I love that point.
Yeah, especially right now in this pandemic, like faithfully serve now. And it's so hard because you just want to be lazy and just go to sleep, but work still has to be done.
That's true. One thing I'm doing, I'm trying to commit myself to like somewhat stay on the schedule. And so I'm trying to work out as much as possible. Obviously gyms are closed, so I pull up YouTube at my home. And like YouTube workouts. I'm doing as much as I can without physical weights. I'm running like even right before this call, I was running. So like I'm trying to let myself fall into like a crazy state or trying to do anything because I'm trying to keep myself active. You staying active? You staying I feel like you haven't been eating real good.
Why are you trying to come for me? Like, I'm confused.
I was asking a question. Do you feel convicted?
I just got an air fryer, as you know. They don't know, but if you don't have an air fryer, get one because it's really so easy. But I feel like I have, like, this week it's been salmon, green beans, potatoes. Like, you know, I did have pizza yesterday, but
took a picture and sent it to us. So that pictures of like the salmon and potatoes, those look real good. So
yeah.
I can't wait for the world to open back up. I can't wait for the economy to work back up. Can't wait for the gyms. I'm ready.
Yes, Lord, because I need to go back. Come on, guns. Come on. I see you growing. And this whole season delay is not denial. And that, I think, honestly, that's actually a good thing for this list. Because, like, let's say people have written stuff on their list about kind of what they want. And we're like, oh, like, it's not coming to pass. It's not coming to pass. And then if we let God rewrite it for us, that delay won't be denial because it'll come forth. So that's awesome.
Oh, you preaching.
I just thought about that when you said it.
You're preaching real good. You're preaching real good. That's so good. Do you have a sheet of paper with you? I want to like rip up everything that's on my list.
Let's go. Let's go.
Count of 3. 3, 2, 1. Let's rip it up.
Rip it. In my Medea voice. Rip it.
All the lists that we made without God's knowledge, we're ripping those up and we're starting fresh. Come on, rip it all up. Never going.
It's gonna be a confetti party.
I know, right? Rip up the list, have a party. That's good.
Yes.
Okay. I love this series. I think it's really helping people. And I'll leave the link to Mike Todd's full sermon in our YouTube notes. But it's so good. I highly encourage you guys to look at that. He also has a new book out called Relationship Goals Reloaded. Do you have the book? I can't remember.
I haven't picked up the book yet, but I want to. I just know the first one.
I mean, I have a hard time reading now, so I have so much free time I should be reading. But maybe I'll get the book. I
think a lot of people are tuning. I mean, his first one, of course, went viral, and he's not intending this reloaded one to be. But I just think it's good that he's not just putting relationships as like romantically. It's like friendships, all of it, and it's just like relationship goal is not a person, it's God. And I feel like that's what he's trying to let come across. Like the relationship goal is God. Get in Him, and you'll find everything you need.
That's real good. Real good. That's real good.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for being here. Before we close, do you have anything else?
No, just I'm ready for week 3.
Me too. I wonder how many weeks you think it'll be, because you know he can drag out some series.
You're right now. He said he's locked and reloaded. That sound effect he kept making.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Well, hey, guys, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for tuning into our channel. Again, my name is Quentin Tolbert, and this is
Khadijah.
Make sure you follow me online as @great_things. And Khadijah, yours is
@I love to smile, the number 2.
That's awesome. Hey guys, see you guys next time.